We're so glad you have found time to join us today, whatever time of the day it may be for you, wherever in the world you might be tuning in. I'd like to acknowledge our partner television and radio stations bringing this broadcast to you. Some of you tuning in through Catholic TV, Catholic Faith Network, Shalom World Television Networks USA, Salt and Light TV, Shalom TV India, EWTN at Madarshan TV, Radio Maria in England, and Luminous Radio. Many more of you are following on our own Vatican Media channel, some of you through our Vatican News website. We have 2 apps, a Vatican Radio app or the Vatican News Live Events app, and many others joining us through the various Vatican Media social media channels and our Facebook Live feed. Still others of you tuning in through shortwave radio and other diocesan radio stations. However you're joining us today, a most warm welcome to you. There are quite a number of families, many more flags here today than normal. We're just off from a 4-day meeting. The World Meeting of Families took place in the Paul VI Hall these past few days, and it closed last night with a liturgy which our Holy Father was present at. He did not celebrate the liturgy, but he was there and he preached his homily on today's gospel reading. You can definitely find that, all this information, on the Vatican News web portal, as well as at vatican.va, where full texts of our Holy Father's discourses and homilies are uploaded. We hear the crowd here chanting, waiting for our Holy Father. We are joining them in expectation of him. He'll be appearing at the window in the Apostolic Palace. We see it now in the background here with the banner unfurled. This is a weekly occasion for the Holy Father to preach on the Sunday liturgy, and also to greet the people of Rome who've come, and pilgrims from all over the world. Many of you may have had the opportunity or may be looking forward to a similar opportunity. And by the roar of the crowd, it looks like here we see him now coming to the window. We now await the words of our Holy Father on this 13th Sunday of Ordinary Time.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buongiorno.
Dear brothers and sisters, buongiorno, or good day.
Il Vangelo della liturgia di questa domenica.
The Gospel for this Sunday's liturgy tells us about a turning point. This is what it says. When the days drew near for him to be taken up, Jesus made the resolute decision to set his face to go to Jerusalem. And so he begins his great journey toward the holy city, which required a special decision because it was his last one. The disciples, filled with enthusiasm because they were still too worldly, dream that the Master is going to meet with triumph. Instead, Jesus knows that rejection and death await him in Jerusalem. He knows he will have to suffer a great deal. This is what demands a resolute decision. And so his step becomes decisive going toward Jerusalem. This is exactly the same decision we must take if we want to be disciples of Jesus. What does this decision consist of? Because we have to be serious disciples of Jesus, taking a true decision, not as an old lady used to say to me, whitewashed disciples.
ci aiuta l'episodio che l'Evangelista Luca
The
racconta subito
episode the
dopo.
evangelist Luke narrates after helps us understand of what this decision consists. Having learned that Jesus is headed toward Jerusalem, this city of their adversaries, a village of Samaritans does not welcome him. Outraged, the apostles James and John suggest to Jesus that he should punish those people by raining fire from heaven down on them. Not only does Jesus not accept this proposal, he also rebukes the two brothers. They want to involve Jesus in their desire for revenge, and he will have none of it. The fire that Jesus came to bring on earth is something else. It's the merciful love of the Father. And to make this fire grow, it takes patience, it takes constancy, it takes a penitential spirit.
Giovanni invece si lasciano prendere dall'ira. E questo capita anche a noi.
James and John instead allow themselves to be overcome by anger. This happens to us too when, even when we are doing something good, perhaps even with sacrifice, we find a closed door instead of being welcomed. So we get angry. We even try to involve God himself, threatening heavenly punishments. Jesus instead takes another route. Not that of anger, but that of a resolute decision to go forward, which, far from translating into harshness, implies calm, patience, long-suffering, not slackening the least bit in doing good. This way of being does not connote weakness, but on the contrary, a tremendous interior strength. It is easy to allow ourselves to be overcome by anger when faced with opposition. That's natural. What is difficult instead is to master oneself, doing as Jesus did, who, as the Gospel says, went on to another village. This means that when we meet with opposition, we must turn toward doing good elsewhere without recrimination. This way, Jesus helps us to be people who are serene, who are happy with the good accomplished, and who do not seek human approval. And so now let's ask ourselves, what point are we at? What point are we at in the face of opposition, misunderstanding? Do we turn to the Lord? Do we ask him for his steadfastness in doing good? Or do we rather seek confirmation through applause, ending up being bitter and resentful when we don't hear it? How often, consciously or unconsciously, we want applause, the approbation of other people. And we do things for applause. This doesn't work. We must do good as a service and not seek applause. Sometimes we think that our fervor is due to a sense of justice for a cause, but in reality, most of the time, it's nothing other than pride, united with weakness, sensitivity, and impatience. So let's ask Jesus for the strength of being like him, of following him with a resolute decision on this path of service, not to be vindictive, not to be intolerant when difficulties present themselves, when we spend ourselves in doing good, and others don't understand this, even when they disqualify us. No, be quiet and continue forward. May the Virgin Mary help us make the resolute decision for Jesus that Jesus did, to remain in love to the end.
Et concepit de Spiritu Sancto.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ecce ancilla Domini.
Fiat mi secundum verbum tuum.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
E bellum caro factum est,
et habitavit in nobis.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ora pro nobis, Santa Dei Genitrix.
Ut digni efficiamur promissionibus Christi.
Gratiam Tuam, quae sumus Domine, mentibus nostris infunde, ut angelo nuntiante, Christi Filii Tui, incarnationem coniovimus, per passionem eius et crucem, a resurrectionis gloriam perducamur, per Christum Dominum nostrum.
Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Pro fidelibus defuntis, requiem aeternam dona eis Domine.
Et lux perpetua luce Deis.
Requiescant in pace.
Amen.
Sit nomen Domini benedictum.
Ex hoc nunc et usque in saeculum.
Aiutorium nostrum in nomine Domini.
Qui fecit caelum et terram.
Benedicat vos, omnipotens Deus, Pater, Filius et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
Thousands gathered here in St. Peter's Square responding to our Holy Father's
Cari fratelli e
discourse
sorelle,
and prayer. Dear brothers and sisters,
seguo con preoccupazione quanto
I
sta
follow
accadendo in Ecuador.
with a lot of preoccupation what's happening in Ecuador. I'm near them, and I encourage all parts to try not to be violent. Only through dialogue can we find hopefully soon social peace, with particular attention to the marginalized populations who are poorer, always respecting everyone's rights, and the leaders of the people, the institutions of the people. I'd like to express my nearness to the families and sisters of Sister Luisa del Orto, a little sister of the Gospel of Charles de Foucauld, who was killed yesterday at Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti. For 20 years, she used to say that she dedicated herself to children on the streets. I entrust her soul to God, and I pray for the Haitian people, especially for the least, so that they might have a more serene future without misery and without violence. Sister Luisa made her life a gift for others, even to martyrdom. I greet all of you, Romans and pilgrims from Italy and many. And he's greeting the people from Argentina. He saw the flag. He's greeting his fellow citizens. I greet the faithful who are here from Lisbon, the students from an Institute of Notre Dame in France. There they are. And students from somewhere in Austria. I greet the polyphonic choir and a group from Rovigo. I see there are also flags from Ukraine. There in Ukraine, the bombardments continue, which are causing death, destruction, and suffering for the population. Please, let's not forget this people that's afflicted by war. Let's not forget in our hearts nor in our prayers. I wish all of you a good Sunday, and please don't forget to pray for me. Enjoy your meal, and arrivederci. We'll see each other again. Our Holy Father ending his weekly Sunday reflection, and Angelus. We'll be back again on Wednesday around 9:30 local time in Rome for the live broadcast of the liturgy for the Solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul, in which the Pallia for newly appointed archbishops will be blessed. I invite you to visit the Vatican News web portal, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's Angelus and other Vatican and world news. Special thanks go to Adriano Vitali, our in-studio audio engineer, and Jean-Charles Puzzolou, our audio coordinator, and to all our partner television and radio stations who've made this broadcast possible. I'm Sister Bernadette, and it has been a pleasure providing the English language texts and commentary for you today. Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ.